rotate the device back. Oh, I have to do it. Oh, that's too bad because the cord's not gonna work here. Alright, let's see. I am not streaming from my studio, so that means you're not alright, I can just do it here. Alright. So people watch on 312 will see a similar shot from when I did the stream the other day. There's a big flat panel screen that's from my uncle when we cleaned out his apartment about a month ago, roughly. And we brought he had two flat panels. One is totally dead. This one's a smart TV, but I don't plug it on this. I don't trust Samsung. But I also don't trust Apple either. It was a Section 8 type of housing, and it was abandoned for like over a year because he's been in the mental health system. Don't get me started reliving that trauma, because they screwed him over on that too. Fortunately, he didn't lose his stuff. So we had like his furniture at a storage unit, and then I figured we'd just take the electronics. You know, at this rate, he may get a new TV anyways, because he has to spend down on his benefits, which just really I was still dealing with that business. Hoping we can see him, because his birthday was on the 6th. And for whatever reason, Mom didn't want to see him. Maybe because she didn't want to see him in with bad news. My clock went up 5 hours. I moved my domain controller. I did get my Dell Optiplex. Not Optiplex. That's I got the PowerEdge R210 numeral 2, the 2nd gen, and it's working like it was. I had some issues with Proxmox, but I did record it, and I'll make a video on that. Let's see what specs this has, just for those who are interested. It's a summary. It's is it on the screen? No, it's gotta go all the way up to date. No, TC, yeah, that's the name. And it's a quad core, because there would be 4 different cores, right? It says 8X, right? So if it's 8X, it would be a quad core, because it would be a core is 2, right? Xeon E31230. I guess it's runs at 3 gigahertz, and I've already saw a difference in performance running some of the Windows instances that boot up really fast, unlike the stream that you saw last week when you just try to boot up one operating system. It's booting off EFI, not BIOS, because the thumb drive to install it on, I guess, didn't like it under BIOS, but it boots up fine. In fact, there is a problem with the BIOS, because it boots up and it says the BIOS is corrupted, and then it reboots, and then it goes into boot. So, well, what you get for like $50 on eBay, fully spec'd, which is kind of cool. So that's it's becoming a production system over time. It's got dual NICs. It does not have a DRAC. I thought it would have a DRAC, apparently. I had to look that up to see. It does have some IP in the BIOS. So I don't know if it's DRAC per se. I looked on the circuit board. It looked like there's a DRAC controller, but I guess it might use like the NIC 1 to, if it's got the computer in there. but I also didn't see the computer run, like the fan running when it's off, because to cool the miniature computer. So I don't know if I had that, but like it doesn't really matter if I have it or not. To be honest, it's just because typically the R210s are for for like single instances, like virtualization. It's engineered for it, but its use case was not. So like voicemail systems, SIP related stuff, literally, phone systems, literally, application enhancers, like online stuff, web stuff. That's what the R210s were used for. So it was like good if you wanted to run an operating system that needed a lot of compute power, but you weren't like running multiple. You were just using one instance. It's so tiny. It's literally a size of a pizza box. I have the box that it shipped in over here, and I knew it was smaller. I knew it was going to be smaller than the DL320, which is smaller than the 360 and the 380, which, because it's more, but it's so carry on in here. Yeah, this is what the size was. The seller was able to package it very well without it being damaged, which is really good. You know, waste not spending more on shipping and you know, carbon footprints for stuff like that. So it was packed very effectively, would be the appropriate word. And that's literally the size, like literally the size of it. It's the box is a couple, I think it's a couple inches, I don't know the size, but it's like, I think it's like 19 by 19, which is really interesting. So you can literally stack those things up in your racks, and then like use the other side of your rack for like the networking equipment. I've done that. I'm loaded up. So that big honking if you watched the live stream on CVOS 312 where I showed you that loud Proliant, that one I'm gonna keep as I'm not using it right now. I actually shut it down and run that run it as a test machine, but not run it in production, because now this is, in fact, I think this is more powerful than the others are. I've seen a significant difference. I think it must have been a dual core in the other room. I don't know. I thought it was a quad core, but it's anyhow. So that thing's gonna, you know, not be used in production. It is, like I said, an energy hog, and it doesn't even like multiple stuff running, because then the fan just kicks up. Not only that, the fans are crap. So that thing was used as probably a UCM cluster, because the LED board is like faded. The LEDs are so like burnt out because it was for network activity. I don't know what the 2U MCSs really were used for, other than maybe high call performing. But like again, with the way the Cisco call manager worked back in the day, back when it was running on top of Windows or underneath. Yeah, call manager ran on top of Windows. That's the way you would say it. Like for like, I think it was for like 1,000 users. One server would do the call management, the other server would do the phone management, the other cluster would do another thing like TFTP, and then Unity, right? And then if you had more than 1,000, you would literally have like a rack full of Cisco call managers for like your entire building, maybe even more than that, and that would include multi-use servers. Avaya was really interesting, because Avaya would market their was it 8800 on that same Proliant, and it could handle 30,000 users and calls. It's just weird how Cisco, I mean, it's all irrelevant now, because now you can run an ISO image of UCM on Cisco's own hardware. Well, not that it matters. I think well, technically, they want you to use their unified computing system right on top of VMware. Although I think they're switching over, like even Cisco switched their Linux from Red Hat to something else, and then they're switching over to VMware to another platform to virtualize it, because Call Manager doesn't run on bare metal anymore. Hasn't been for a few years. I think version 8 and maybe 9 was the last one you could run on bare metal. So, you know, but I'm not planning to run anything more than that. And even in those instances, all servers would, like, at that time, like, go on like 2 gigs of RAM and like 80 gigs of hard drive, but you'd use all the computing power. But the computing power required a rack mount system, but no one ever maxed out their servers. So when you go on eBay or Mercari or similar reseller, you know, the servers are not totally maxed out, because they never were maxed out. They weren't intended to be that way. But now with everyone using virtualization as a baseline, you'll see more and more listings down the road that will of servers of this generation, or the last, I'd say 4 generations, you know, get at least, you know, more than 32 gigs of memory and storage as well. Because that was the other thing with the Power Edges, was the backplane on its storage controller would handle multiple terabytes, because you can store a lot more. I mean, storage is now like on a local level, if you're in an on-prem level, like more ubiquitous. But back in the day, yeah, those storage limits were very very finite. You know, some people would use their Exchange emails to store their documents, because they were limited to the storage on their servers. And if you had thousands of employees, you know, you were limited to like 100 megabytes. It was really, like, not even like 10 years ago, it was still a thing. But now with the cloud, they're limiting you know, your storage limits. I mean, Facebook is now banned. Now Facebook, I got this like related post from the Facebook page of Facebook saying that they're now limiting how long you can keep your live streams for, and you have the opportunity to purge them, which says a lot about Facebook, because, you know, if they're such a $1 trillion company, why do they have to punish their users? You know, it says a lot about technology. They're too cheap to keep your data. So now, like, if you live stream to your personal Facebook, you'll keep it up for, like, it used to be you can keep it public for 30 days and then like change the settings. Now it will purge it. I guess they need to do the quantum computing, so they're just gonna take the Facebook app instance and then repurpose it for that would be my only theory why Facebook would ban not ban, but Facebook would limit their ability to stream. I mean, you introduced it 8 years ago, roughly 8.5 years ago, and now they're just making it harder. Like, at least on Facebook pages, you have to have up to 200 followers or likes to stream. That's with everything now. Not YouTube was allowing me to do it on 312 at 52 subs, but they put a limitation because they have to ration it, but then they don't ration other things that they should be rationing. Again, it just goes back to how technology is so finite, quote unquote, like, isn't like 90%, 96% of the cloud underutilized, which is the same argument when they were pushing for virtualization on-prem. Oh, your server's only running 4% of the time. You should consolidate it and use one server. Okay, so then if that's the case, then how come the cloud, which is basically a plant of virtualizing, whatever word I want to say, how come it's running the same efficiency? It's it makes you wonder, and in the way they play games with all the big tech companies amongst the top 1%, they're really screwing the pooch. I think they really are screwing the pooch, and they don't care because, you know, they're big tech companies. They're too big to fail morally. So, which I just think is a problem. I think it's a whole nother problem in itself. Like Cisco, like I said in one of my streams, I think Abercrombie's no longer using Cisco anymore. And so, well, I haven't been shopping in a while, so it'll be interesting to see if Hollister or Abercrombie has that crappy link phone, or I'm sorry, Teams. I should just say Skype phone. Really really throw you guys off a loop. But yeah, it's a sign of the times. It's not like Cisco will lose in UC. I mean, I think there will be other companies that will still use their stuff. It's not like it's not like they'll go down like Avaya, but even in enterprise technology, you have to, like, consumer technology. You got Facebook and you know, Fang, right? And Fang will screw you over at some point. You'll get stung by the Fang. And most consumers will just, like, adapt from one platform to another. Enterprise tech is kind of becoming that way too, unfortunately, where, you know, you come with a contract renewal and you'll get screwed. It's just it's the unfortunate reality with tech, because you're kind of like rolling the dice thinking that they're not going to. And even open source, the FOSS community, and I want to be honest with people, I'd like to, if I could donate $1 to my, because I'm doing a lot more open source in the back end, not in the front end. There's a reason why. I think we all know that reason. On the back end, where was I going at with my train of thought? I just lost it. In terms of that, I like to like give $1 or a little bit more than $1. It won't be too cheap, but it's because sometimes these projects fail because they're not getting enough community, because people will go with the free stuff and be freeloaders, unfortunately. I saw like a YouTube video on Blender. Like, Blender is struggling because they went to open source. It was once proprietary. They went open source and they're struggling. I played with Blender to do graphics design, and I was kind of interested in learning how to do some CGI. Excuse me, CGI stuff. I just had lunch, by the way. Sorry. So I hope that Blender will survive, because I think a lot of people do stuff with Blender. I've been able to get Blender to work better than VizRT. The VizRT, I remember when VizRT introduced the freebie CGI system, I couldn't get the fucking thing installed at all. It was like I had Windows 7, and I think I can still get into the Viz account, but I installed all the prerequisites that VizRT demanded, and I still couldn't get the fucking thing to work. So, yeah, Viz, or I hate Viz so much, or Blender. At least with Blender, I don't have to deal with data. I don't have to make a database and make code, make graphics or whatever. One of the things I wanted to try to do was one of the things I was trying to do with Blender was to try to do not necessarily CGI, but just like take a bunch of Photoshop PNG images and like do kind of like paint box like animation, where you take one image and you're mixing it. There is like a video editor in Blender, but I wasn't going to edit video obviously, but to do the effects, because if you give me a video editor, like Avid's not really good at doing this kind of thing. It can be done, but it's not the most effective. But I did it, a lot of my animations I did on Final Cut Pro was you just put all the images, the PNGs or SVGs, into your timeline, and then you make the effects, and then you key on the black if there's nothing, if there's a background black or blue, whatever color you have in the background, then you save it as a QuickTime file, then you ingest it, then you do the key, and that's how the graphics are done. That to me I can do. All the other stuff with CGI I'm not really good at. It's not to say I can't. And also, can I do things beyond what the app has? You know, at some point, I don't want to be on Adobe. I have my own thoughts with that too. So there's just a lot of these big companies are just so huge. They're so huge. They're so huge, and they're so morally bankrupt. And it just makes you wonder what's really what's their intent to screw over the customers. I'm not gonna say user base. I'm gonna be direct and just say, well, they're paying lots of money that they don't have. And at some point I'm gonna work on a project. So I'm just trying to pick up my workspace, by the way. So I'll be moving cameras. One of them. I'll let you know which camera to look at, which feed to look at. So where is I going at? I lost my train of thought again. In terms of companies, right? Companies that are paying a lot of contracts, they're probably, you know, with this economy being a little skittish, they're probably thinking twice of what they're going to invest in. And particularly if it's a tech company remarketing, like Red Hat Linux, you know, they're thinking twice. Is it worth paying Big Blue this amount of money to resell your code that you've run off Red Hat Linux? Is, you know, or if you have a community edition and you're going to use CentOS or whatever. I mean, it's gone now for all intents and purposes. And my Aeron, I need to get a new pump for my Aeron here, so I want to go up a little bit. Yeah, it's like, what are you going to do? And I think it's really interesting on the enterprise tech side to see which companies will survive and which ones will take the fall. And I don't think it's going to look good for that as well, because IBM could write off Red Hat even more, and it's like you don't want to be writing off a company like Red Hat. I mean, they did what Broadcom did. They bought Red Hat, and then only the 1% customers that can afford jack up the rates, the licensing, in the sense of repurposing the Red Hat code and stuff like that. It's legitimate, right? But the companies don't want to pay that much for repurposing, you know, Red Hat. You know, you choose an operating system to run your app on, because you're not going to sell, you know, a Linux app for businesses. You're going to sell them a packaged solution. That's why they use Red Hat. Not just as commercially sell just the core operating system, but you're typically running a package. It's better to sell a packaged system through an installable operating system. Everything's on the ISO basically. That's what they do. It's just which company, you know, will you use to, you know, repurpose the do that. So it's not as simple as the way the consumer tech looks at it. The consumer, they don't understand what it takes to do this stuff. All right, so I have a Snom cordless phone. This is well, it's not German anymore because I think VTech bought them out, which is another thing too. I don't know when they bought them out. I'm trying to find the handset. They were bought by VTech at some point, and then VTech kind of changed some of their product lines, and then their support where you want to find their firmware, and then they used to have like a wiki, which was kind of cool. That was really cool about what they had, and then they like pull the plug on it. So if you have like an older Snom firmware where you can click on the wiki, it won't take you there anymore. It's like a dead link, but it's hard coded in the firmware. And unfortunately, I don't have the phone in front of me. Let me check over here. Alright, it's not over here. It's not on the ground. I didn't throw it on the ground. Oh, actually I do have it. Oh, it's right on top of my laptop. Oh, this guy. This one doesn't have a battery. This one, I need to replace battery, but this is the cordless phone. It's on top of a piece of, here. So, these are relatively old. I think I bought this on eBay last year, the year before, for like 15 bucks. Not including shipping, but it wasn't that expensive. I got it to, did I ever get it to work? I don't know if I've ever gotten it to work because something got in the way, unfortunately. The other battery for this one was bulging, so I know that lithium ion would be a smoke hazard. So I gotta, so in this little thing, I'm going to tell you what makes electronic device rattle when it gets assaulted too much, intentionally or unintentionally. We'll find out, because I did it with the other chargers. The other charger is right here, and I need to clean it out. I have some cleaner wipes behind me. So I'm going to just use my nails, because I have good nails right now. I'm going to take off now what I'll do in lieu is I'll get a glue stick to put the rubber feet back on. And I think the cordless base is still on, but like I can't even get into the size. I think I have to like do some restore thing. Yeah, I had a couple other Snom phones. They're I mean, they're quirky with the ringtones, but they're pretty solid. The older ones, I mean, the newer Snoms that I've seen on like their Instagram. Where is my screwdriver? Oh, my little guy. I had a little screwdriver somewhere. Hold on, yeah, I gotta find a screwdriver. I've seen their newer VoIP phones, and they are just weird. They look like all the other Chinese-made phones, where you have like the screen, because they're all screen phones now, and they got your line appearance, and they got your that's not feature keys. But they got all the line appearances, and then they have the stupid clock right smack in the middle. Like, just what we need more of. Another virtual clock on the device, smack middle on the screen. So if you have like a person with a long name on your busy lamp or speed dial, you can't because they got to put the stupid clock in the middle. And then they have the beveled little icons for the appearance or the name, but you have like a character limit. I've not seen the phones with I've not seen phones with whatchamacallit, where it's customizable. So it's like, it really turns me off, because then everyone's copying the same idea, and it makes me just wonder, like, why just stick stick to a more realistic brand and not like some ripoff, you know, kind of thing. It's just my thing. Like, make it purposeful. Oh, that's my other pet peeve with modern flip phones. The buttons are bigger than the screen where it lines up to. That drives me bananas. Oh, Viking, by the way. There's just a lack of like user design. There's like no one thinks about the users anymore. It's all about what I want to be as a technical person, like technical professional. No, that's not work because I need a Philips. Unless it's in. This is also the Techie Crafts workspace too, so I'm like doing both at the same time as I'm trying to do system management. Oh, at some point I'll show you my ThinkPad because I'll show you my stuff at some point. I'll do that at near the end of the stream, which will be about another hour. I don't think I'm going to go beyond an hour. And this will work. Damn. Yep, I like to go into telephone repair because one of the things that I gotta find a Philips. Give me a moment. It's not in this room. I already checked. I'm the hopeless autistic is being hopeless right now. My stream is hope. Oh boy. Okay. I'm getting whirly gigs. Oh, I could do center stage here. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know I could do that on YouTube. I'm familiar with it with Zoom. With my new mine was almost 2 years. Actually, it's more than 2 years because I got it in late 2022 for Christmas. Let me turn this off. That's gonna come on. Oh, come on. It's probably because it's trying to connect. It's got an IP. I'm wondering if it's just because I'm so far away from. Oh well. If you lost the stream, you know where to find me. Alright, so I'm gonna essentially do this guy and take my Philips, if this is the right head. I'm not sure. I think it's too big. Let me find another bit. Why is it locking up on here? Maybe I lost this connection. Let me go find another screwdriver. Maybe the feed will come back on. With my magic. Wait a minute. I got a solution. I got this Armor All branded cordless screwdriver. And as I'm really distracted, wondering why is this stream not working. Yeah, it's probably because it's strained. And I'm all the way upstairs. Come on. Right. So, I bought this at Marshall's last summer. And it's not working. It's too big of a bet. Alright, let me go to my craft. Unless I go find another screwdriver. I think I'm better luck trying to find another screwdriver than it is for me to find another drill bit. Hold on. That's not. Well, I really got a lot today. What to do with everything? I think this stream is. I'm gonna kill the stream here. And, I had a feeling it was gonna happen. Never was. It's way upstairs. And when I was streaming on that channel the other night, it was a little bit laggy, but that's part of me trying to like do all the upgrades to the network. I spent last year upgrading the network to the bigger catalyst, the wireless access point that does pass through PoE. That was I have a WAP 361, which is pretty good. It's a little bit of a bitch to deal with in terms of multiple lands. It doesn't help you in that regard. Alright, let me stop you. I said end. It will not end. Great. Something went wrong. So I got a busy weekend. I'm going to the Apple store tomorrow to get my both of my Apple devices checked for sanity. That's interesting. It's battery check. I want to make sure because both of my devices are they're going out of warranty. Although I put the iPad on a subscription, another cost that's driving me bananas. Or no, let's subscribe to your yeah, because that's exactly what no one asked for, was to have their warranty and support be on a subscription basis. It's like no one asked for that. So I'm doing it for like maybe a couple months so I can just get the Genius Bar to check out the devices. It told me to back up and update my iOS, but I'm going to do that on the iPhone. I'm probably going to have to do that tonight or tomorrow. I've heard really bad stories about iOS, and it's hard to know like all the bad experiences, because when they talk about photos and they say their MacBook or whatever, you think it's, but it's almost like the same thing. It's like, why is Apple pulling a Microsoft where they have to change everything for the sake of changing everything? I don't get it. It's not going to help the people upgrading. So, I was going to talk about Dodge. how they're not really dodging a bullet down in DC, and Elon is enjoying himself, you know, owning the libs, I guess, in some ways, doing a mass layoff, and yeah, I'm repeating Sandy. Hope I get a different result. Oh, it's still not. It's totally hung up. I have to close the app. Alright, I'll do that. No, I guess just screw that on, man. You can have more subs there. But I did post something about Dodge and just how he was at the CPAC, the Conservative Political Inaction Committee. He had a chainsaw. Like, I thought that was the most weirdest, very pretentious thing to do, is to go in with the what was it, the Venezuelan dictator, I call him. He came up to hand it to him. I'm like, oh boy, people need to be sent to a facility to, like, because they have a cutting addiction. They're so obsessed about cutting everything. You're gonna get to the point where you're gonna cut the fat, too much fat, and you're gonna get to the bone, and then our country's gonna fall apart. So, here is the charging cradle for the M3 phone, and you're gonna see what would rattle. Oh, that was not intentional. That was the glue for the weight, right? Because if it doesn't have any weight to the device, it's gonna fall off, right? So in order to, it's glued in. This one's a little bit different because the other one I knew for sure wasn't glued like this. But it looks like there's like a glue gun to it. The other one was a sticky adhesive. Sometimes these little plastic thingies right here, like the brace for the weight, those things can crack. So little rattles are, are expected as plastics age. Plastics technically don't go away, but they will deteriorate at some point. But this is really weird because I've never seen it. The other one was, I think, just like had like a sticky adhesive. So I'm not sure if this thing was ever opened, but here's the logic for the unit here. Here's the positive and negative, and then the AC adapter. So there's 1 or 2 micro chips. Maybe 1 to reduce the power or whatever. Oh wait, this would be the power. This is technically a power supply. And then this would just be the logic board to control it. Probably to talk with the lithium ion so it won't explode. Although, don't even rely on that at this point with everything exploding. So I gotta know where I put this right here. And, spot here. Look at my reference. Did another piece fly out, like the plastic clear, like for the LED? I thought I saw another thing fly out. Yeah, here's some of the glue that fell out. So yeah, I need to find a clear thing that covers. Yep, there's the contact. Oh wow, this glue was. Look at this glue. So that was what was rattling, was the glue on this charger. In many pieces. I'll show it to you later. I'm not doing anything with it right now. I'm not gonna do anything with it. I'll deal with it later because, like I said, I wasn't expecting to use a glue gun. Like, although I could do that. I mean, it wouldn't be that complex, but wasn't what I was expecting to come out with. So, I forgot how I did with the other one. Of course, this would for your warranty if you bought this new, or if it was in some service contract, but I don't have to worry about this because I bought it used. And you wonder why I buy things used. Alright, I think I got it lined up to the right spot. I got it closer enough. Of course, I should go and watch my replay to see how this all popped out because I wasn't expecting it to be like that. Oh, maybe there we go. Contact in. I think oh, that's what the controller is. It's probably to power the LED indicator when it's charging. That's the plastic to move the light or extend the light. Alright. At one earlier point, I will deal with the thing. Alright, let's put it back together. We'll put it together in one piece, unlike the way Steven always does things and takes things apart and never put it back together. I'm not going to play Humpty Dumpty today. Let's see if I can... I'm trying to do this with my stand. Come on. There you go. That's what I was trying to do for all this time. But like I said, I will try to... hey, it reminded me of I don't know what happened. I think the wireless is so wonky because I'm 2 stories below the access point. I actually was taking apart a cordless phone charger, and it flew out with a lot of glue pieces. It looked like it was like glued in for the weight for the thing, so it stayed on your desk, believe it or not. And I was going through what kind of plastics could be the reason for why it does what it wants to do. So I'll be showing that to you again, I did not do anything. I just put the metal weight back in, and we'll go and revisit it another time. The other charger, I have two phones and two chargers, and the other charger was, I think from my knowledge, it wasn't glued like a glue stick. It wasn't that kind of an adhesive, but it was there was a different type of it was, I think it had like an adhesive stick on it. So I explained that this brand was based in Germany. They were basically making what I call tip and ring phones with an internet stack. They weren't fancy office phones, but I have a few. I used to have a few of them. They're built pretty well for those phones, but when VTech bought them, they kind of made them just like another Chinese made phone with really poor user interface. Like if I was designing a telephony user interface, I wouldn't make the buttons bigger than the screen itself. It's like, come on. So back in my spots. Now I'm gonna put the feet back on. Rubber feet. Is there like a website for rubber feet? I'm afraid of Googling it because that sounds like a fetish. But I kid you, I kid you not, it's not what I'm looking for. I'm assuming there's like a website, like an online e-tail for rubber feet, especially ones that you want. I probably have to know the metric system because they probably go by the metric system. You can hear it rattle a little bit, unfortunately, but I know what the rattle is, and I'll deal with it at a later time. Because I don't know where my glue sticks are. I was trying to look for it for my craft necklace I was going to go out to the coast with a month ago. I couldn't find it. So I think I have some lying around just because I was moving the craft space from my bedroom down here, and I moved the media space up here. Everything kind of moved around, so everything's not in its typically proper spot. So, that is complete. So I'm gonna just chat a little bit more, talk a little bit about Doge and how it's not a dog. It's just a really wild thing that's going on. I was watching the CPAC the other last night. Feels like forever. And just the way that the Argentinian dictator and him going with the chainsaw, it's like, yep, that's exactly what I don't like. Because I feel like they're addicted to cutting things. And, you know, I've just been talking about technology and how... Hold on, I'm just going to unplug my iPad. Hopefully I don't kill my iPad because I have to go get that. I'm bringing that in tomorrow to get the battery checked. I don't know how much my mother got this for Christmas for me back a couple of years ago. I got the basic one. I don't have 120 gig of storage. I don't know why. I was just trying to be economizing because I figured maybe the bad day was going to happen for my own. Let me see if I can go back down. Alright, oh nice. I do like the center stage. Wish I knew that the function would extend. I guess you have to do it when you swipe up on the upper left. Oh, I like this shot. It's a little bit more tighter. Okay, now I know where to put the camera when I'm doing another live stream. And maybe for you, let's see if you folks will like it down here and see what's there. No. Because the iPhone doesn't have a center stage function. So now I'm just going to keep on gabbing. And can I zoom? Yeah, I gotta clean up the room because that Dell monitor was there to test my actually, let me do some playing around here. Yeah, I feel like I'm on a Zoom call on the iPad. Just a couple of lights here to see. Because I like to do like, oh yeah, now it's zooming. Okay, nice. Oh, these bots, come on. Alright. Because I like to do it, I like to have my tech in the background, but the way this is a work in progress. I'm repurposing this spot. So yeah, Dodge. Are they really going to judge about the thing that I mentioned in my vlog this morning, that if you haven't seen it on the YouTube, the Hopeless Autistic YouTube, I recommend you check that out, because my point was what kind of efficiency? Why are they doing it so quickly? Like, you could do this in 3 months. Go look at things, and then do action. Unless they're really trying to do what Steve Cannon, the loose Bannon, is implying is muscle velocity. I don't remember flooding the zone, but I remember when he interviewed with Frontline, the Raw interview that they had with him, he mentioned muscle velocity, and I didn't know what it really meant. Like, I remember what he said leading up prior to, which, because I watched that interview a few different times back when they published it, was that he because the media will only focus on one story, that because they're stupid, you flood the zone and create a muscle velocity by doing a bunch of different stories so they can keep them distracted. It's a very abusive. It's kind of like an abusive boyfriend situation where you just throw many different things and then keep them guessing while you continue to do more things. It's exactly what he meant, but the muscle velocity, I think, is a clear exploit of the media, and not trusting or going in with complete and utter cynicism. Not even skepticism. It's cynicism. I can't freaking times that. It's because your baseline is you can't trust the other people, and you're going to do everything you can to just overwhelm people. You're going to overwhelm the media because you don't feel overwhelmed, and also overwhelm the victims that are going to lose, whether they're federal employees, recipients, and stuff like that. Keep them on their edge, because Daddy Trump is going to come and make your life more challenging, and that you problem attitude. I think it's really bad that Loose Cannon. I mean, I know Loose Cannon Bannon isn't running the show, but he's got a lot of proteges. That Peter Thiel guy. I mean, that guy is that guy's a creep. In a lot of ways, I know he was part of the PayPal mafia, but it doesn't like he's just a loose cannon too. He's very quiet though. That kind of creeps me out. That he's not a very outspoken person. When he does, he kind of should be creeping people out, because he has a very sick utopian worldview of not just technology, but how to exploit technology to use the most vulnerable people. And again, I'm not saying I'm against technology. And also, I've seen a couple of YouTubes I'm sorry, I'm cleaning up my screws so I need to find a couple different screws for something. So I'm trying to sort out my screws while you will hear a lot of noise. I hope it's ASMR for you. Oh, speaking about AMSR, apparently one of the Trump socials when you tell them they're pretty hip, they can exploit it. They had a detention of somebody, and they used the hashtag, I think it's posted on X. They call it ASMR. I'm like, wow, they're getting it, and they're like, they're putting it in their socials. Like, some people must find it very relaxing, very sensory. It's very sensing for them to hear other people's pain. That's called sadistic Machiavellianism. I think that's what it really means. I don't think it's pleasing. I think it's sick that people think that's very sexy to hear people getting deported. Because you're gonna get your job back. I don't think so. And yeah, the rights really kind of have been able to. There's a lot of ASMR for the Steve-O's 312 audience because I was picking all this up right now. My bad. Yeah, they're exploiting it, and unfortunately, I don't. There's flooding zone, steamer. That was another word. And you think, oh, for all the right wingers to think, oh, this is energy. No, it's not. You don't want to be this stimulated. I understand politicians put people to sleep, whatever, but this kind of stimulation is like it's I'm gonna say it, it's political. It's political fentanyl. And when you get this kind of energized, this kind of like feedback loop of this kind of turn on that the other side is getting is losing, well, you're quote unquote winning. It's not a good thing, and I just don't think this is good for this country. I'm kind of concerned at the direction things are going, and too many people are happy. They're just so happy that everything, there's all this, owning the libs. It just makes me feel good. Why am I so happy? I'm so happy that Donald Trump's my president. Oh my God, I'm feeling so good. It's like, what makes you feel good? I don't mean that to be condescending. I'm just like, like to understand that this happiness for you and sadness for others is not the way you should be handling political discourse. I mean, a lot of the people who voted for Trump, not just this time, but even even 9 years ago, were people that weren't into politics, or got into politics because they were they wanted a new hobby. But politics should not be a hobby. You should really take the politics seriously. The whole quote from Breitbart, and I've said this, I said this before, I don't know which stream, politics goes downstream from culture. That was a Breitbart projection. That was not a quote ever. There's no scientific research to back up political scientific research that politics came from downstream from culture. That was something that Breitbart just repeated over and over before he died, I guess. I never heard him say that, and I used to watch Red Eye on the Fox News channel. I thought he was an okay guy, but apparently he was a real loose cannon underneath the cloak of his fakery, unfortunately. And yeah, and it's also funny how all these like conservatives were like they were liberals before, then they turned really conservative, because I think Breitbart used to work for Arianna Huffington of all people, and then she's too left for him, so then he created Breitbart, which was interesting how he went from one extreme to the other. But I thought he was more of the centerist, but I think his true colors came way after he was gone. Because Steve Bannon was involved in Breitbart, going full circle. You know, I remember when he was interviewed by Frontline the first time, and he talks about like how Breitbart was, he put him on a fucking, you want to talk about bromance, you want to talk about like homoeroticism, if you watch the interview with Bannon about how he just put Breitbart as this one little man that had so much power, which he didn't, and he just like revels around him. It's kind of weird. So I'm like I said, I'm not surprised, but like I just, you know, one thing I was going to say in one of my streams, since I'm here, but you're going to hear me screw around with stuff, so this might not be the best thing. But the other thing too is RFK Jr. Spoke, was it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember if it was earlier yesterday or if it was late Wednesday. And he talks about some really important points about chronic health issues, girls getting puberty early, which is kind of scary to think about. And then he brings up autism, like literally 1 minute, 150, if I remember correctly. And I'm going to say this too with RK Jr. I think he's, what's happening with this attack on autism is it's literally personal, because a lot of these anti-vaxxers think their kids have died. They're almost like deadening their children, and they've given up. And one of the problems I have with RFK Jr. is that, or people like him, is we're getting to the point where RFK is, or people like them, there's going to be a push to acceptance of people who are on the spectrum, but they'll acknowledge their presence, but they'll deny their existence. And this kind of scares the shit out of me, because if you acknowledge a body but you deny the soul, you want to do it with any other people, but you're doing it to me because you know that I'm different. No, I'm just saying, and I'm not trying to single people out. I've had that experience so much in my life where people will identify myself or go vulnerable, and then they'll like stop denying my presence. They know I exist, but, or no, they'll deny my existence by acknowledging I'm a person, and then they start talking almost like a third person. And when you feel like a them, oh boy, that's like a kick in the balls, a punch in the balls too. It's really demoralizing, and I feel like the more RFK talks with his crappy mouth, you know, I'm sorry he's got his own health problems, but it doesn't excuse him being an asshole. I don't care. He's basically a redneck. He's like literally a redneck Camelot. There's literally a Camelot clan, just only one. It's just RFK Jr. But he's just a really weird screwball, a screwy man with just, you know, oh, his father got shot and his uncle got shot, you know, 5 years before. Oh, I gotta be sympathetic to your loss. I thought you guys liked that one. You know, and I think it's like this month, I mean, again, I didn't get all huffy puffy during the election. I really didn't want to get all hysterical or whatever, but it's becoming more and more evident that there are people out there that don't want us to exist, and that really bothers me. And if we did this with any other group, there would be boycotts up until well into next week. But it's okay when it's the other side that's doing it. I understand, you know, trying to get rid of certain food dyes that allegedly are causing people to get all messed up and all that. I understand all that, but you have to, like, again, there's a line of doing it, and the problem is because it's okay to be a man in this current, whether you are a crazy leftist or if you're not even a leftist. I don't even know where RFK stands on political stuff, but I just think like our people like him are just, like I said, it's giving people a permission structure to be the worst versions of themselves and not be the better angels of civilization. And I think it's wrong. I think it's just so wrong. This is not what we should have. You know, he's not the role model that I would want kids, young political kids, to become, like college kids. You know, but sadly, I think the politics is turning for the worse. Just the level of shallow bickering, owning the libs, this almost like, it's just not right. It's just not okay. It's absolutely not okay. And I don't believe you should be an asshole just because everyone else is. Like, you should have some integrity. You should have some empathy, not just to the parents. Have some sympathy for the child. Understand that they're a human. There's just so much dehumanizing between the objectification from Trump and J.D. Vance is one screwy man. He wasn't always that way from what I could tell, but you know, yeah, J.D. Vance isn't anything to write home about. Oops, my bad. You know, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, right? But what they're trying to do is get through all the loopholes. Because, see, the first time around, Trump couldn't do it because he didn't have the right people to kind of just evade from. He took the laws very literally, at least in 2017. If he wanted to ban all the Muslims, and then he couldn't. So then he kind of was put into, like, he could do very little things, but the reason how he was able to get through a lot of this, like, red tape. Hey, it's still 7:12 in the evening. My clock, I think, lost sync with the active directory controller. Unless did it sync it again? No, it's 2:12 on the domain controller. Meaning when I log in again, I'll get the clock. I'm surprised it's not pulling for the time. I don't know how network time works on Windows. It's been a while since I used it. But it's interesting when the clock kind of loses its time, or your battery needs to be replaced and your computer went back to 1980. It's kind of funny. Because you know the battery's dead. Because I can't afford an NTP server. I'd love to get one, but there isn't one. It's not made in China. It's not from like a sketchy seller. But I do like to get one where I can just put the GPS like out, like on the second floor, and tie it downstairs as a network server. Ooh. So that's standing. Yeah. I was supposed to go out with my mother today, and she decided to stay in because she didn't feel like going out, I guess. Yep, so, yeah, it's, it's interesting times to be in this part of the world, just feeling like you're not worth anything, and then it's just basically being applied. Like, it doesn't take a genius to know that, you know, the RFK Juniors of the world wants you to not exist. You know, we're just, you know, you're a nuance, not nuance. You're an annoyance. That's kind of what he's playing out here. I think that's what it is. It's just more victimization, more whining. Like, you know, you guys are a burden to our spreadsheet, so we're just gonna cut you off, because there's threats of IDEA cuts, and in special ed, Section 504 is gonna get rewritten. It's like, there's just, you know, if you're weird, socially awkward, or not learning fast enough, you're not good enough, so we're just gonna, like, make it difficult for you to get the things that you deserve as an American. And then people will justify, oh no, that's not what he really meant. He really meant X, and he meant this, and stuff like that. And they'll find a way to justify it, because the Trump sycophants will always find a way to sympathize with what his message is, to try to reassure you that you're not crazy, and rationalize through reason, because, you know, you're anxious. You shouldn't be anxious. You should be happy, because your daddy's the president. Your daddy's president. Dummy boy Trump. You had to pay your master. Ruff, 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 ruff. I wish I did that more on the Weekly Zoo, where I just feel like we're dogs, and we're supposed to just obey, like, the president owns us. It's like, it's really crazy. People keep denying that. It's like, you're just complete denial of how we've gone so far backwards in this country. It's sick, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie about that. Alright, we're gonna do some more field work, voiding warranties. This is a Mitel VoIP phone. These are pretty cool too, and you can run these on open source or non-Mitel systems. In fact, it does function a little bit. Functionality is a little bit different, but it depends on how you look at it. Of the various functionalities. Oh, by the way, in case you guys haven't, forgive me, it's been like an hour since I'm on stream here, but I'm going to be doing a fun code. That's what I'm calling it, fun code, for the Fun Phone Company. So if you have these kinds of fancy VoIP phones that use the session initiation protocol, you can hook it up to my network. And it's a private phone company. It doesn't go to Mobile, doesn't go to Comcast. It just stays within. And you know, our part of the world, in this hyper connected world, we can have a decentralized phone network. You can sign up at clickfor.net/TMOT test/ fun, join with me fun code with hyphens on there, because it's a WordPress post. So I'll post that in the links on both pages, just to see if you have a internet phone that you want it to connect to, and you don't have a phone system, or you want to you don't want to pay for anything. So I'm not charging for the service, because I'm not having you guys connect to the outside world. So if you want to, like, do that, you can just connect over. I have not done tests on it yet. I haven't even got it. I just got that new Dell, so now I'm gonna be repurposing it Optiplex to be the internet facing host. So, like, anything that's intended to be on the internet exposed, I'll put it through. So I'll give you more information when I do that. All I wanted to do is just see if people who would be interested to sign up. As of this stream, when I checked my email, I did not get a response from anybody. So, except for me when I did a test on it, just to check it that the emailer would work. That's the only way I was able to test it. Unfortunately. But it would be nice if somebody would sign up for it. It would mean a lot to me. So these screws look identical, but I don't know if they're totally identical. So I'm gonna take another. Yeah, I'm taking apart things. This is my weakness. I should never be taking things apart. That's my. I rip them apart. My masculine energy. I gotta channel my masculine energy to rip people apart. Oh, hey, what's up? I'd love to have a camera operator. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. But unfortunately, I what the hell? It's not the right scribble. I don't wanna take the electric screwdriver. Where this bit came from, because it's not from here, I don't think. Oh yeah, it's not it. When I go outside to get the mail, I'm gonna go out and find my other screwdrivers. Right, I don't have the. Oh shit. Okay. This is how you mix up your tools. I don't like to mix up my tools, and it's too. Actually, it won't work because. Of course, you bitch. Why are you using my other screwdriver? What did I use for like my hard drive? Oh. I thought I haven't. This is my tool chest. Like, unless I moved it again, and I'm like, well, sometimes I'll just go in my toolbox and just pull everything out, and then just find something that. It's not in the deep chest. So then, if it's not in the deep chest, then what the hell else would it be? Oh, here's another screwdriver I'm looking for. I think this one will work. Of course, I'm overstuffing these things with things that shouldn't be stuffed on. I'm gonna play it fast so you can follow me. So yeah, I've been streaming on 312 because it's in there really good. That's why. For like every Friday afternoon or Friday evening, me just streaming. So that's what I've been doing. I thought, well, do it on a Friday ritual, but not that I'm going to be returning the weekly zoo or returning to the weekly zoo by any means. But which I'm not. Contractually, I'm not supposed to take the weekly zoo with me. It's part of my contract. My contract prohibits me from taking the weekly zoo elsewhere, which really sucks. I don't want to do that, but it's, you could hear the crack because it broke through well, they didn't break through, just, these phones are probably 20 years old. Yeah. Let's see. They're both the same size. The left and the left and right. So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go on the bottom of the phone and see if I don't know why that screw came off that particular phone. I don't know why I did that. And why I opened that one up. I don't get it. You shouldn't be opening these things because it will avoid the warranty. And also, do not reverse engineer because that's probably going to be illegal before you know it. That's probably what happened, was it got loose or something like that, but it's the same size of screw. So it's got to be in this pile somewhere. That's why I was going through the screws. Oh, why is that doing that? Ooh. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe it got stripped. That sounded like I was stripping through the screw. Yes, that's what happened with the other one. Just want to make sure these things are solid. Okay. Alright, here, rattle. It's probably some plastic that broke. Right, so take this guy and find another one at that length in my pile. That one's in there, good. The other one, let's just do these. I'll go and find it somewhere else. Oh, the phone's ringing up. It's outside calling. It's probably someone checking out for my family member because they haven't heard from my mother in a while, so. That's coming from my Cisco 7961. Goes to that 2801. Which I need to, switch that out. Alright, so I'm going to wrap up because I've been on for 89 minutes on 312. Love how it doesn't do it in a 16-minute interval. It's got to be literal minutes. Almost, I think I've gone as long as I did on the other stream. Do an AMA at some point. If anyone's watching, which I don't think anyone's watching right now. Maybe I'll do a live stream this evening. So I know I got an audience there, so maybe I'll go back live tonight, depending on what's happening with my mom and I. And because I'm going to be making crepes for dinner. Yes, crepes. My third attempt on it, and the first time went pretty good. You got to do good on the hand-eye coordination. If you want to make good crepes, you got to know it's 1 minute to 2 minutes to cook it. And you got to stop. It's literally like press your luck. I hope you don't get hit on the whammy, because that would really suck. Stop! Oh, I got hit on the whammy? Oh, fudge. Alright. So the other Isabella instance that I was running on to do the Fun Phone Co. I screwed up the installation, so it was like a 180 gigabyte hard drive. So what I did was I tried to... There's 2 Izzy zeros. That's not good. I was trying to remove the hard drive, but the system stopped functioning. So I might not be able to... The other thing too is... Oh, shit. I gotta stop this feed before I lose this, because I did a really good video on here. Bye-bye. There we go. I had to cut that feed because it was giving me the whirligigs. Oh, goody. I didn't want to lose that stream. So I'm going to make shorts of it. That's why. So, you know, for you folks, since that's not going to work, or the internet is swampy. I need to fix that. Where's that going at? Oh, so I tried to remove the hard drive, but Isabel wouldn't boot up. It noticed that there was a drive missing and it needed to fix it, even though I didn't install it on there. So, yeah. I might like detach it. Can I detach it live? Oh, I can't hot plug. Oh, that's too bad. Because there's no data on that drive, so I don't see why I can't. So anyhow, while I'm on this stream, I'll try to unplug and hopefully I don't lose this stream either, because the battery is a little bit crappier here. And I get a thermal shutdown here. So this is, yeah, it's hot as fuck. I don't want to lose my feed. Yeah, wow, this thing's hot as fuck. So this is my ThinkPad X100E. This is not the original X series. I think it used a lower number, but it's like the 2nd gen, because it's got the butterfly rip-off keyboard, but it works pretty well. I've had this for like probably 7 years. I bought 2 of them because one, the power wasn't working properly. It wouldn't hold a charge, so I bought another one. And that one that couldn't charge the battery because there was something wrong with it, it died. So I have that as parts. It was no good. So the second one works, and the battery worked fine. And the battery, the other one, I had several improper shutdowns because I pulled the plug on it a few times because, you know, working in tight spaces. So this thing, I'm still on Windows 7. I'm not upgraded this. This will not be upgraded. It's not exposed to the internet. And this is attached to a VGA monitor to basically manage the network. So things like Telnet, SSH, Cisco, real stuff, TFTP to be exact, all that stuff is basically is covered by this little thing. I'd like this to be a Mac. I can use the Mac to do a lot of this stuff. I don't have to use Windows. But unfortunately, I don't like the MacBooks of late. And even if I want one for like a network management, it's not like right now like worth it cost wise. But I could like get a Mac Mini, which I might do, or just run it virtually. Right, so it's not working. So I'm going to just come back here and try to remove that 72 gig drive because that was like a problem. Oh, that's why. All right. Hardware. Oh, it removed that shutdown. Okay, that's good. Let me boot up that one. Maybe tonight on my LAN party, I should call this a LAN party. Not like I'm not that I'm a gamer or anything like that, but maybe I should do it on my stream of phone stuff. That's what I was trying to do. So I might come back and do some work. I mean, well, it's a work in progress because I don't know if I can do that, but at some point I have to cut off the stream. It's almost 2:35. Been on for more than 90 minutes. I think I went on about right before 1, so let's explain why it be. I got another phone down here. I got phones all over the place here. I have secret stash of everything. This guy is a 7961, another one. 61 gigabit Ethernet. I need to get the kickstand. This is the problem with the 7900s. If you want to collect them, go ahead. But that's why I need to find the plastic piece that stops the kickstand. That's why I'm not putting this one back together. This one's not in production either. It's just for like I said, the plastics. As you saw, what's inside a rattling case is often plastic in nature. I think I had the other plastic peg for the kickstand because that broke off. The plastic peg that goes underneath that piece broke, so I'm gonna have to. I just found it over here, and it's right here. It's one of them. The other plastic piece is somewhere down here, and I don't know where I did it. So I'm doing this by myself. I don't, again, no warranty implied with this kind of project. But it's just putting things back together. Because it wasn't that one when I got it. I bought it at Sears like 3 years ago. I bought, I bought a few Cisco phones the year before. They're all for like lab uses. So, and a few of them I think I brought to the storage unit just to store them off. So, yep. It's like now it's booting up. Yeah, I took out the hard drive because when I was migrating it from the other system, I'm like, I got 2 hard drives. I don't need that other one. It was taking up space. Because the intent with the smaller Dell one, the Optiplex, I want to, I have 2 hard drives. I want to take that terabyte and move it on the new Dell to store stuff. Preferably, I don't like to use SATA, but that's what I have. And like I said, I have backups. Oh, that's the other thing about the backup server. I didn't talk about the backup server. Okay, so when I was doing some migrations from the Optiplex to the R210, I installed Proxmox backup server on the Mac Mini. And then I took me like an hour to configure it. And then I built a virtual hard disk within Fusion, VMware Fusion, because that's what I'm using. So it's not necessarily a VM app. It's really not. So I ran that and then put the virtual hard disk on one of my Time Machine drives. So then when because I didn't have enough storage to do 600 gigs, because I didn't know how much it was going to be backing up. So I'm like, all right, let me just, because I use the Time Machine kind of a catch-all too for backup uses for stuff that isn't covered under the Time Machine process, but just as like, it's like an X and Y setup, because I have 2 hard drives, 2 8 terabytes that I cycle, every 90 days. Idealistically, so some like virtual backups I'll put on one drive, and then some on another one. This one I use a virtual disk for the Proxmox backup server, just to have a way to have storage without the internal one filling up, because I only had like 150 gigs left of storage on the internal drive. Surprisingly, the speed was not, it was easier to back up than it was to retrieve and recover. Like the download speed was lower than the upload kind of a thing, which was very weird that it was doing that. And it was going through an external drive through a gigabit LAN through, it was interesting to see that yesterday, see how the network was spiking. You could see where the point of failure was for the slowdown bottleneck. I think had something to do with, I think the network. Cause I think one of the ports is not at full gig. I think there's a wiring problem. And now CentOS is a little bit lagging on the boot up. But that drive doesn't have any data on there that I know of. So it should work. The other thing you can do with all the asterisks, free PBX and stuff like that, is to use like an FTP server to back things up. I don't really have readily available right now, for multiple reasons. So that's another thing I'm working on, is get all these virtual instances, set up so I can get to all that. So yep, so that's going to be a thing. Take it. That's where the failure is. Yeah, it's tiny, but I don't think there was any data on that drive because I didn't see it on free PBX. Oh, here we go. Entering emergency mode. I exit the shell to continue. Type journal CTLW system logs. Okay. But I did boot up CentOS, so I don't see why that... The funny thing, CentOS thinks there's an AMD processor in here. I'm like, no, it's not. It's an Intel. well, worst comes to worst, I can... It didn't matter, because I only changed a few things, and there was kind of some... voice messages that wasn't like you heard, and like that's not really important. Well, I could do, if this doesn't boot up properly, I could to reboot and do like a rescue, invisible rescue instance, and try to like recover it in that way. Alright, I'm kind of getting a little tired right now. It's been 105 minutes according to YouTube. It doesn't do like increments of an hour. It's very literal. I'll do another stream probably at some point. I'm simply gonna have to back up my iPhone, which I'm not done yet. And I'm gonna need to do that at some point. And my iPad, so I'm gonna... I was trying to do with Amazing, that app, and that was being a bitch, so I'll work on that at some point. Excuse me, I'm tired. All that yapping. Alright, I'll see you folks at some point. I'll give you guys an update if I do it tonight. It all depends on what my plan is tonight, but I won't be able to do it tomorrow because looks like it's gonna be a busy day. Enjoy the cold weather while it lasts. This is like the last cold day before things warm up. And you know, the snow is a joke out there. It's like all glossy and stuff. So alrighty folks, bye bye.